Hey, you know the promo code is Dangle, 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Let's start the show.
The Steve Dangle Podcast, powered by Sports Interaction, Canada's sportsbook.
S-D-P, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go!
So I want to start the show with an apology. At the SDP, the show, and at SDPN, we have always wanted to build an environment that welcomes everybody, no matter your background or your orientation, or your gender, any other designation. Right? It's supremely important to the three of us. And last episode, we talked about that, and at the end of our conversation, there's about a 2-minute block where we really fucked up. I really fucked up, and I want to address it now, and I want to tell you how what I've learned from it. But firstly, I want to apologize. I want to say that if you are a member of the community, or you're not a direct member of the community, or an ally of the community, and you were hurt by the things that were said on the show, I am terribly sorry. Reading the comments yesterday, it was so gutting, and it's because it was like the antithesis of what we set out to do. And sometimes you've got good intentions and you really fucking blow the execution. And I really blew the execution. I want to read this tweet out because I thought this sort of summed it up perfectly. This is from Janelle Less Than 3. She said, "Hey, Adam Wilde, can you explain what you meant by exclusionary here? I was talking about Stonewall and the riots there. And I said it has, quote, too much importance. And she said that comes across very poorly. And it seems like you're getting your perspective from some questionable sources." And I responded, I said, absolutely. Can you let me do it on the next pod though? Because, I find that Twitter is very difficult to be nuanced, right? It's sort of, you got 280 characters. That's it. There's no possible way that you could possibly say all the things you want to say. And obviously there were far more problems than this with what I said, but I think this is the first one. And I when we set out, my whole goal here was to do profiles as a straight white dude, doing my homework, do profiles, illuminating members of the community, past and present, who have changed the world that you might not know about. And the challenge put before me, because I said I wanted to do this, and the people that I spoke to at this company and my friend group said, listen, if you want to do that, fine, but you better be prepared. You better make sure you get it right. And I didn't yesterday, on Wednesday. And you better make sure that you go beyond Stonewall. It's not that Stonewall isn't important. What I said was that too much importance is placed on it. Absolutely fucking not. Absolutely not. That is wrong. It's an extremely important event. But sometimes the way it was explained to me was, it's like, oh, Stonewall happened and now we can all get married. And that was exactly what I wanted to avoid. I wanted to go dig deep on this. When we talked about throughout the other social movements that have happened over the course of this show, one of the things that we talked about, and I think specifically during BLM, we talked about the fact that you're not supposed to lean on members of the community to explain to you these things. As in, you're not like, if I need to have a conversation, or I need to do some research on an issue that affects the Black community, I shouldn't pick up the phone and go, Jesse, what do you know? Right? It's about doing your own homework. And that's what I wanted to show with this. And I was doing my own homework, and I completely misspoke. That's not how I feel about Stonewall. It's just not. But I realized that what I said still hurt people anyway. And I realized that my apology may not be accepted by you. And I am terribly sorry if at any point I ever made anybody feel less than included or wanted here. Because this was supposed to be a celebration of pride, of the LGBTQ plus community, or in Canada, the 2S LGBTQ plus community, because Two-Spirit is very important. It's newer designation. I know some people were reaching out and going, why do you think that you could change the acronym? It was just what I was told that I should say because I want to make sure I'm doing it right. And the other thing was, I mentioned something about people being excluded, exclusionary, and I think a lot was extrapolated about that. And I don't blame you for saying that because, whatever you took from that, I didn't say what I meant. And what I meant was, there are people that for a long, long time, when it came to Stonewall, were not included in the credit that was deserved for that riot taking place. And I'm speaking specifically about Black trans women here. Marsha P. Johnson was the person that I was going to do the profile on today because I thought yesterday, I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is a good thing because I need to sit back, shut up, and learn. And then maybe I can go forward with, with doing these profiles. But, what I overwhelmingly saw and 100%, you need to do your homework. But I also saw people saying, what makes you think as a straight white guy that we want to hear this from you? And, in my ignorance, in my avarice, I did not consider that. I thought, I'm like, okay, this is going to be something that I can contribute and that I can help with. But really, it needs to be about amplifying voices in the community. And sometimes the best support you can offer is shutting up and standing back and letting someone else have the stage, right? And for me, one of the tweets that always sticks out of my mind is, have you ever considered just shutting the fuck up? And I think it's my turn, and I'm truly, I'm just gutted by anybody that I hurt. I'm so sorry. And I did not speak eloquently on the topic. I want to say this. I won't be continuing with the profiles because I agree. I think that we should amplify voices in the community, and we will endeavor to do that on this show because we do care. It matters very deeply to us. And beyond all that, I don't want to take away from the whole point of this, which was we wanted to have an initiative to tangibly help people. And we have a charity that we picked that we've asked you to donate to, that we're going to donate to, but we don't have a direct affiliation with them. I think some people thought that we signed a deal and that we're under contract and we're going to spurn any other charity. That's exactly the opposite of what I said on the last show. I said, whatever charity you want to go with, here's the one we use in case you wanted one. And the reason we like the 519 so much, I'm going to read a message from Phil Westlake, who is who's a longtime listener of ours and who reached out yesterday. And he said, hello, sir. I hope you're enjoying the weather. I listened to the latest podcast, heard what you guys are doing with the 519 group, and we're not doing anything with them. They don't even know we're doing this. So, but I just wanted to say that as far as someone who turned to them for help, I can't say enough about them. In 2018, my transgender daughter was found dead under suspicious circumstances, and I was unable to make any progress into finding out what happened without counsel. So I reached out to the 519 group by email, and within 24 hours, they had called me back, and they had a list of advocacy groups and contact info for lawyers who they'd already spoken to. And in my daughter's case, it went from being swept under the rug to a full coroner's inquest. And throughout the process, they kept reaching out to touch base with me. Even had a reporter from the Star do a small story on me to help bring attention to it. So I will definitely be looking into some of the merchandise, and obviously our proceeds from the store are going to the 519 specifically. I'll be looking into some merchandise to help this great group of people. Please keep in mind, it's coming from a parent who was completely overwhelmed by the loss of my daughter. And they were the first people I felt like truly cared. So again, I can't say enough about them. And he specifically said his daughter's name was Rachel, and the person that helped out with the 519 group is Justin Kahn. And this is what I wanted it to be about. A group like this, an organization like this, and what I said and how I fucked up took away from that. So I want to apologize one more time. There were so many things that I said wrong in that. And I'm sorry for any hurt that I caused, any misinformation. The episodes have been edited. that chunk is no longer on there because we don't want to perpetuate things that aren't true. And I just appreciate you taking the time to listen to this. And I understand that there are people who are very upset with me today, and I get it. And you're right, and I'm upset with myself. So thank you for allowing me the time. And I know, Jesse, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, within that chunk there, I also need to apologize for what I said. I was trying to add on to our comments about Stonewall, and it was idiotic and it was wrong. And I understand why people misconstrued what I said. I was trying to make an attempt to, because you were talking about the history of Stonewall and how we rethink it. And in my mind, I was trying to make a comparison.
And I wasn't trying to say we rethink it. Like, that's the thing, right? Like,
right. And I added on to that incorrect thinking and thing we put out there by saying, oh, it's kind of like how we rethink the statues that we have, and we're trying to take those down and change history because we're looking at it a different way. And it was just a wrong comparison. Putting the racist statues in the same breath as Stonewall was wrong. And quite a few people called me out for that. And I appreciate you doing that. And I apologize to you if I contexted something that's so important like Stonewall with something like racism and terrible acts and these statues. And it was the wrong thing to say in the moment. And like Adam said, our intentions are to only bring light to the positive things in the community, and we're going to hopefully do better.
Oh yeah. So here's what we're going to do going forward. As I said, I'm not the one that you need to be hearing these profiles from, but I have a podcast. If you're interested, one of my friends reached out yesterday, and makinggayhistory.com and the Making Gay History podcast is one that you should check out. You know, like I said, do your research. I will continue to be, but in a less public setting. And appreciate you taking the time to listen. As I said, we would love to, love to see a donation, whether it's through us or directly to them, to the 519 or whatever local group you believe in and you think is great. It's about helping people. And we are, for those who reached out and said, why don't you have a trans voice on? That was all part of the series, right? We were going to have guests. We did say that. And Harrison Brown is going to join us next Wednesday. I know that we have some other people lined up as well. So, we're going to amplify those voices rather than our own. Thanks again. And we'll leave it at that. And sorry.
If I can add on, we're also doing some work that we're going to reveal later on throughout the month with the Get Real movement. That's another organization in Toronto. And they do have an event this Sunday called Steps of Pride. It's down at the Polson Pier if you're in the Toronto area. It's a free event. I'm going to be there. I already got my ticket. So if you can attend, that would be great. You can listen to some voices from the community speak on these issues. They have 6 speakers there. It's 5 p.m. If you can make it, I think they'd really appreciate it. And yeah, Get Real movement's another organization that would really appreciate your donations if you have some funds that you can send along their way.
Okay. So with that, we take a really hard right turn and we talk about hockey. As hard as that is. So first off, I do need to ask Steve, you barely made it through the stream yesterday.
Dude, it was terrible. Thanks for this. By the way, I really appreciate it.
What, being sick?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I gave it to you. Sorry.
I don't know that for sure.
But probably.
Yeah, man. I was doing a pretty good job last night during the stream and just fighting it off and coughing during the whistles and the TV breaks, and then at the end of the game I couldn't finish the sentence, man. I couldn't finish the sentence. So now you could hear my node, and that's why I got this Kleenex box in front of me.
So we be blowing noses throughout the show?
Garbage can. Yeah, I'll try to do it as quietly as possible. Oh man, imagine me blowing this nose for subwoofer guy. That's gonna be a tough Friday.
I hope you pull off the mic when you do it. So like, listen, I woke up this morning and I it's like we blinked and the Oilers are down 2-0 in the series. Like it just, seriously. I just, unlike game 1 though, this wasn't really close. And I thought Shayna Goldberg put something really, really good together for The Athletic. She said, teams have a tendency to fall into a defensive shell when they have the lead, and the defense-only line of thinking can be too one-dimensional and really challenge an opponent. It allows a trailing team to only think about how to thread the needle offensively instead of keeping it on its heels. The Avalanche forced the Oilers into the ladder. They forced them. They scored and they kept on pushing. They scored and they kept on pushing. Even when it's 3-0, they're pushing for 4.
Oilers couldn't generate a shot. Like it was pretty even, I thought, when it came to shots, when it came to chances. And those 3 goals, I think it was in 164 seconds, as CJ pointed out. I mean, that was it. That was it. And like, to me, that's the most sobering thing for Oilers fans. It's that the magic they've had all playoff long, the ability to erase 2, 3, 4 goal leads in the blink of an eye. They couldn't even get 2, 3, 4 shots.
And give you McDavid's stat line for last night.
He didn't look great.
No goal, no assist, no points, -1, 2 shots, 22-43 on the ice, and nothing else. Zeros. He said after the game, he's like, I don't think I had my best game.
No, he looked. There were some times where he looked like he was laboring.
Like anybody, I guess he's probably fighting something.
Yeah, like everybody. But I mean, another super sobering moment for Oilers fans. There was a moment where he was 1-on-1 with Cale Makar, and he was attacking him, and he's skating forward, fastest skater in the world, against Cale Makar, who's going backwards. Makar kept up with him, no problem, straight backed, poked the puck off his stick like it was nothing. I've never seen someone handle Connor McDavid like that. And it was that one play that sort of made me go, oh, this isn't going to be game 1. This isn't going to be game 1 at all. Jay Woodcroft juggled the lines. It did not work at all. And they really never got their groove back.
So his decision in the first period to not play McDavid and Draisaitl together, I thought was odd. Because they showed the time on ice that they've had together throughout the playoffs, throughout the Calgary series and in Game 1 versus Colorado. And if you look here, it's Game 1, they played 16:52 together at 5-on-5. And by the end of the first period versus Colorado, they played 49 seconds together. And in every game in the Calgary series, they played at least 10 minutes together. So was he saving them for the next 2 periods? Because and then the next 2 periods went completely in the wrong direction for the Oilers.
Well, the first period was their best one.
Right. But it was the bad decision because you moved away from what worked. You won 4 out of 5 games in the Calgary series.
And almost won game
together.
1, right?
And almost won game 1.
Back.
I think he overthought it. He overthought it a little bit. I didn't think the Oilers were playing poorly. Mike Smith actually gave them a few really good saves. I didn't think he had the worst game at all, if I'm being honest. Maybe not the best, but certainly not the worst. I saw him try a line of Kane, McDavid, Hyman, and I looked at that and I said, that could work. That could work. I really like that on paper. And then I saw them out there. I'm like, this line stinks. No. Like it didn't work at all. So listen, you're in the conference final. I don't think you need to reinvent the wheel. You're going back to Edmonton. You're going to have home ice. You're going to have last change. Go with what you know. Go with what's worked. And that's your best chance to beat Colorado.
And with Colorado throughout that game, I thought like, okay, Franco's got a shutout. That's all great, but I feel like Steve, if you were in net there, you would have had a good chance of stopping like the majority of those pucks.
No, well, maybe the majority of them. Franco's had to make some big saves.
He had to make like 3.
He had to make
like 3 saves the whole game. No, this is a credit to Colorado's defense and the game they played. They played absolutely. Such a tight game. There was one play that like I think encompasses what happened here. Nurse was coming down on a breakaway. Do you remember this play when Nurse had it was a 2-on-1? The 2-on-1.
Oh, and the poke check.
And the poke check. But the reason the poke check was there and that Nurse was in on the goal is that the defenseman there was just like, I'm just gonna take out the other guy because that's a defenseman coming up. That's Darno on those. And to make that play in such a split second, it's great team defense by Colorado. And they played that all game long. And I think it was such an easy win for them.
Well, it was also a defenseman making a choice, for God's sake. Like that is, if you ask people, if you ask 100 people, you'll get 50 on one side, 50 on the other. You take the shooter or you take the passer. I cannot stand when I see a defenseman playing a 2-on-1 and they just sort of stand there waving their stick around. That's nothing.
Well, that's
a 2-on-0.
You're supposed
with decoration.
You're supposed to pick the puck carrier as the defenseman, or you're supposed to tie up the other guy so at least the puck carrier can be most of the time you pick the other guy. Let the puck carrier and try to angle them off.
Both of those are decisions.
But you make a decision. You don't sit in the middle.
Yeah. And I think the split-second decision to not take Nurse and let Nurse and Francouz battle it out and then Nurse gets poke checked was genius.
Yeah.
It was a very nice play, and all game long they made those little plays every single time the Edmonton Oilers had the puck, that it wasn't competitive.
There was a
Colorado
moment
dominated.
There was a moment where I thought my ability could have been compared to Francouz. And that's when he gave the puck away to Cody Ceci and it almost led to a goal.
When it was 5 feet from the net?
Dude, why? What, for the purpose of what? That was maybe the most confusing play of the game. And you brought up Nurse. He had a tough night.
He's hurting, though. That's what I got from Oilers fans.
Well, he probably is. Down Goes Brown put him on his all bad playoffs team. So his Down Goes Brown is putting together a list of the worst performances from good players. And
these are the best players in the world. You don't even rank them by worst.
Well, I think he's doing it for fun, tongue in cheek. But it's 2 goals, 2 assists, big extension next year. He's like, well, he's got to play better. And I mean, listen, I don't know if Nurse is the guy you want to point out. I think it's team defense. Colorado had 40 shots, guys.
Yeah.
And Mike Smith allowed a goal every 10 shots. I think that's pretty fair. And I think that's fair.
And the Oilers were, it was some of the best defense I've watched in these playoffs. Every time the Oilers attacked, it seemed like they were outnumbered. They would skate into this wall of Colorado players, and then more Colorado players would come up from the back and take the puck. That was what are you guys playing with 8 dudes?
It's like getting swallowed. Right?
Yeah. And there was no room for Edmonton to get their breakaways and their rushes. They did get a small handful, like the Nurse one that was poke checked.
They're neutralized. Colorado was amazing,
and there was a great Puljujärvi chance in front. It was a fortuitous bounce. Puck squirts to him. He just completely misses the net. And I think about that. And I think about those moments and I'm like, were the Oilers as far off as I remember? And then I think about Kadri missing high and wide at least twice. McKinnon, Makar, the Avs had so many glorious opportunities. And apart from the big saves that they made Mike Smith make, the amount of times the Avs narrowly missed a wide open net, that game should have been way farther out of hand than it was.
I want to put a little spotlight on Nazem Kadri because Leaf fans are just going crazy, going, well, we shouldn't have traded him.
Cece's in the Final Four too, guys.
Yeah,
so is Barry.
3 primary assists just within a few minutes. I think one of them was, we thought it was his goal and it wasn't.
Yeah, I got tipped.
But
the Lehkonen one.
Yeah. But and this is again Shayna Goldberg, who's fucking amazing. And she said, along with the three points, he generated 8 shot attempts in all situations. 7 were scoring chances. And with Colorado, with him on the ice, Colorado had 16-7 in terms of attempts. Like they were, and this is the thing, is that she's like, listen, that what's happening is that the Oilers are trying to match McKinnon. They're trying to match up against McKinnon, which they should. But it's leaving a ton of room for Kadri to kind of come in and not do whatever he wants, but do a heck of a lot more than he normally would get to.
Well, and that's the thing, right? It's not uncommon for a team's best players to be neutralized in the playoffs, but everyone else has to step it up. And that's what happened for Colorado. Who's having a good series? At least visually, I don't know what the numbers are. JT Compher. He's all around it. He's all around everything. Nicolas Aube-Kubel coming in to the lineup with the Burakovsky injuries on the third line. Replacing a dude who blocked a big shot. He blocks a big shot. They're down Sam Girard. They should be more dominant than they currently are. Man. By the way, this is a scary team.
I'm quoting Shayna Goldman. For some reason in my mind, I had said Shayna Goldberg or something like that. So I apologize. Shayna, hey Shay. You know who I'm talking about, right?
So,
I'm a little, as you can imagine, a little
frazzled.
Yeah.
Every time you said her name, I was like, I didn't know that was her name because I just knew her Twitter handle.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, I follow her. Yeah, no,
absolutely.
Good work. Good. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
What did you guys think of? I love the Francouz chant at the end of the game. That was great. Mm-hmm. But I loved even more Jared Bednar's reaction to being asked whether or not he'd start Because if Darcy Kemper is healthy, he's the starter.
Supposedly it's his vision.
Really?
He suffered some sort of injury. He got hit in the mask or something in the first round, and he wasn't totally confident in his vision partway through game 1, so he took himself out of the game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I think they did ask him, like, if he's ready, who's going in? And he just kind of smirked and he said, no decision's been made.
I thought that was very funny.
It is.
But with Francouz, I saw some talk about his numbers. His career playoff numbers are poor. His regular season numbers were very good. And his playoff numbers this year have been so-so. But if you look at the games where he started game 2 against Nashville. It's a 2-1 win for Colorado. So it sort of made me think about what I don't think NHL.com keeps this stat. But we should really isolate goaltender statistics from games where the goalie comes in relief and games where the goalie starts, because those are enormously different situations. And Pavel Francouz, as the backup goalie, is going to have to come in relief, and those are tough situations, and you're usually already getting caved in, and your numbers probably aren't going to be very good. His starting numbers are great. You start Frankie, he's going to win you most games. He's going to probably stop the vast majority of the shots. He's not going to allow shitty ones. He's going to give you a chance to win every time he gets in there.
You know, when we were growing up, and maybe this is just me being young and not really paying as much attention, I can't remember major goaltenders ever leaving a game, right? Like maybe Patrick Waugh once or twice, maybe Martin Brodeur, Dominik Hasek never.
Pulls were pretty rare unless the team you cheer for had Mike Keenan behind the bench.
Right, and then he pulled everybody.
Everybody. Ed Belfour should be in the Hall of Fame twice because he put up good numbers despite getting pulled in half Mike Keenan.
If I'm ever commissioner, one of the first things I'm going to do during my first week on the job is allow goalies to take warm-up shots before they start the game.
Like 30 seconds or a minute.
Pitchers in baseball, when they come into a game, they get fucking half an hour to throw as many balls they want at home plate. You know, they get to warm up their arm. They're doing it in the bullpen, first of all, and then they go to the mound and they got to do it again. Give the goalie, like, I don't know if you want to run out a player to just take penalty shots, just a couple slap shots on him. If you have a coach behind the bench who has his stick and his skates, if you want to throw him out there, but allow the goalie to warm up before the game starts. Why is he going in cold?
I agree with that, but there needs to be a failsafe to prevent like some sort of like I can just imagine Roger Nielsen being like, yes, that's a great idea, and then just to get infinite timeouts, he changes goalies 20 times in a game. Right.
Well, put in a rule about changing the goalie, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll put that in. Thank you. This is why we will have a committee.
Yeah.
It will not just be a solo commissioner who runs it all as a dictator. We will have a little group.
I will happily be your yes man.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill Daly.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be the dude who, oh man, when I show up, everyone's so stoked to see me.
Yeah, high fives.
Oh, high five.
I was carrying donuts.
Oh man. I already do that.
Anyways, allow goalies to warm up. It doesn't make
just
sense.
one time. Once both goalies have been in the game, warm the other one up. I know, I'm with you.
Take some shots on them.
I'm just imagining a goalie coming in a game in Nashville in relief, like as the visiting team.
Oh,
and the other team's warming them up, and every time a shooter comes in, the fans and then the shooter actually scores, and they go hey,
and it's a perfect time for a TV commercial.
Yeah,
because that's all you need.
They want more of those.
Well, they certainly do.
Why not?
They're stacking them.
Yeah.
So
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. You don't see those.
Yeah.
I think you're right, Jesse. I also think that. I think the Oilers are in a bit of trouble here, and I felt like after game 1, I'm like, this team can come back from anything. And then seeing last night, you're like, ooh, if Colorado keeps that up, that's a problem. And here's the worst problem. Are you ready?
Yep.
The Avalanche are 5-0 on the road these playoffs. They are 15-4 in best of 7 series when taking a 2-0 lead. Now, does it matter that they're 15-4 because most of the players playing in the team weren't as a part of most of those 15-4? But I mean, 5-0 on the road in the playoffs so far. They're bound to lose on the road at some point.
Yeah.
But
the thing that scares me too about Edmonton and Colorado is that Edmonton wasn't when they were coming back in the third, what did they do? They took 2 dumb penalties. It was the too many men on the ice, and then the Zach Kassian interference on Bo Byram. Like those 2 penalties were when you have this chance in the third. Okay, the game's not over. Maybe if we get a quick one, we could still be in it. And then in the first period, the one where you said they had their best period, they had 3 penalties. They were on the PK that whole period. And Colorado,
including a 5-on-3, that was a big kill.
Yeah, and Colorado didn't capitalize. But you're not gonna have a great game if you're always on the penalty kill.
To add on to what you said, I was checking the NHL player safety account to see if Landeskog got anything for hitting Yamamoto.
Yeah,
and the only thing tweeted 20 minutes ago: Edmonton's Zach Kassian has been fined $2,500 for unsportsmanlike conduct during last night's game against Colorado. I'm going to take it a step further. Like what he did to who was the player who got hit into the bench? Byram.
Yeah, it was because it was a coincidental minors when you took a dude's
Yeah, what was that? What was Byron supposed to do?
First of all, I don't know what Bowen Byram did. Second of all, I'm sorry, if you take a penalty from the bench, if you on the bench touch a player on the ice, you should be kicked out of the game. Like, I'm not saying it needs to be a 5-minute major and your team needs to be down for all that time. I'm not saying that. That's over the top. But you're on the bench. You're touching someone who's on the ice. Get out of the game. That shouldn't be a hard rule to follow.
Is that the rule? I guess it's not.
I guess it's not.
He was still in the game, right?
I can remember when Darcy Tucker attacked the Sens bench in the playoffs.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to just throw fists at 5 different people at the same time.
There should be probably a rule where if you're on the ice, you can't punch someone on the bench.
Right.
Like, those 2 groups of players should never, under any circumstances, interact. And if you do, it should cost you your night. It should 100% cost you your night. I saw Cassie do that. I'm like, what are you thinking?
What if it was a 4-minute penalty instead of a 2? Because, you could make the argument, if the ref wanted to, it could be a delay of game.
Yeah, it should be some sort of misconduct. Like, it just... so Woodcroft wasn't playing Kassian, because I don't think he trusts him enough. And then Yamamoto is taken out of the game because of that hit from Landeskog. And guess who's replacing him? Zach Kassian has to move up the lineup. I saw him take a few shifts with, I think he had one... I don't know about McDavid, but he had some with Draisaitl, and he was out there with Kane, and that's if Yamamoto can't come back for Game 3, that's a real tough position for Edmonton, because the depth, while improved, oh boy, might be Dylan Holloway time.
Ooh, really? That might be exciting though. I like that. Those are good stories.
Absolutely.
Sure.
They obviously need a shot in the arm, right? And they need a little bit of help, because it feels so silly to say Edmonton needs help generating offense, because I do remember Game 1 just happened. But
they're probably coming out, as Jesse mentioned, with McDavid Draisaitl.
Yeah,
it's like, we talked about, Tampa. They lose Game 1 of the playoffs 5-0. They eventually figured it out and won that series. That's why I'm not too worried about how they're going to handle New York. Good teams figure it out. And we were watching in real time Colorado figure out the Edmonton Oilers, and a team that was losing got worse and worse and worse as the night went. That is a boa constrictor of a team, and underrated defensively, man. I'm not going to lie, this is going to be tough for Edmonton. This is going to be real tough.
It's what makes Sunday night so interesting. Oh, sorry, Saturday night.
Saturday, 8 p.m. Hockey Night Canada. While we're here, can we go back for a little to your Zach Kassian on the bench taking off Byron's helmet penalty? Because the NBA a while ago, like half a decade ago, or more than a decade ago, they implemented if you leave the bench, you get an automatic 1-game suspension.
Oh.
So if you step foot on the court, you're suspended for 1 game. I think they implemented that.
NBA.
Yeah, after the Malice in the Palace. And then in the 2000, I was trying to look it up here. It was the 2007 playoffs. The Phoenix Suns were playing the San Antonio Spurs, and there was a little scuffle on the court. Steve Nash got hit in the face, and then Amari Stoudemire took a foot onto the court after Steve Nash got punched in the face, and he got a 1-game suspension. And then San Antonio ended up winning the series because Amari was out. And I feel like there's these crazy consequences, but I'd like to see that rule as well in the NHL. I'd like to see if you touch a guy from the bench and he's on the ice, the 1-game suspension. You can't do that.
Yeah, listen, did Cassian hurt Byram? No. But there should be zero interaction between those two groups of players.
Did you react to him reacting to the call and the Jumbotron?
Oh, yeah, he was laughing. Wait, Cassian or Byram?
Cassian.
Oh,
When
I don't
he was
remember
like,
that one.
What do you mean? What's the call?
Oh, I was laughing at Byram asking the same question because genuinely, what did he do?
Yeah.
But
And Byron's reaction was amazing as well.
It was very funny. Man, I was asked at the beginning of the game, who's your breakout player for this series? And I was really overthinking it. And I'm like, I like the way Newhook skates, and Bouchard, I really like the way he uses his shot. And the more that game went on, I'm like, what kind of an idiot doesn't answer Bowen Byram 10 times out of 10? God, he's real good for that team, only getting better.
Yeah.
And you
Too bad
forget,
he can't keep his helmet on.
yeah, provided he can keep his helmet on,
Yeah.
he's really good. Teams figure it out, not just throughout series, but throughout games. And we're watching, not everything works like it does in video games, where Byram has these stats for this season, and then he improves over the summer, and he has these stats for this season. No, it's a gradual process that it takes part over his human life. And man, he's gotten better and better and better, and he's really hitting his stride. He's playing his best NHL hockey.
It's time for us to get into You Can Bet That with David Bastel from Sports Interaction. As always, we've got tips on responsible gaming in the description where you get this podcast or underneath the video. And we always ask this, 19 plus, and please play responsibly. Let's get into it. You Can Bet That, Dave Bastel. Okay, so we got two very important things. We're saving the most important for last.
Oh.
Most important for last.
You'd say we're saving it for David Lastel.
It must be Friday.
Father's Day coming up.
Obviously, tonight is Rangers Lightning. And despite how game one went, the Lightning are still the favorites in New York, David.
That is exactly it. And well said too, right? Because you see the dominant effort by the Rangers, especially in the later half of that game. But right now, according to the numbers, we are supposed to go back to Tampa Bay, watching this series tied at 1. Right now, the money line pick is the Tampa Bay Lightning at a 1.71. So, you know what? Fairly significant money, as far as lower than I thought it was going to be, because you can get the Rangers at almost 2 and a bit. And apparently this is what the odds makers are telling us right now, guys.
What I love is that Jesse, we were talking about the over-under on Wednesday for game one.
Oops.
And I'm pretty sure Jesse took the over. He's the only one on the show who's like, it's over.
I took Rangers and over. I nailed it.
Yeah, and it was Rangers that put them over. There's nothing else.
Right?
That's it.
Crazy.
By themselves. Yep.
Now let's... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to say, it's like no one remembers. This isn't even Tampa's worst game one loss of these playoffs.
Game one in Toronto.
They'll be okay.
Yeah.
They lost 5-0 and they did okay.
They are inevitable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now let's get to the most important one out there.
This is it.
David, especially...
I may have had something to do with this.
I'm not surprised.
I'm just saying.
As a native Manitoban, can you please explain the next thing that's available at sportsinteraction.com/SDPN?
Exclusive to sportsinteraction.com. And like you said, sign up today because there's a lot of special things there, including this. Barry Trotz. Where is Barry Trotz going to be coaching next year? So we have a number of teams.
Amazing.
A number of teams. I would say 95% of them out of the running, in my opinion. And a heavy favorite right now are the Winnipeg Jets.
What a surprise.
3-4-7. So I will tell you one thing, though. I will tell you one thing. So we put this prop up on Thursday, and Philadelphia was the number 2 team, and 2 and 3 have switched. So right now, Vegas is number 2, Philly is number 3. Does it scare me? Yes. Am I terribly afraid? No.
It's because Vegas, since 2017, has pretty much gotten the person they wanted every offseason.
They're such a good fit for Trotz.
They are. They are.
Really good fit.
The one that's so interesting on this one is there's the 2 teams with that have the least good odds are still super interesting that they're even included. And that's the Seattle Kraken, who had a terrible year, admittedly, and the Edmonton Oilers, who are
What?
Yeah, 13. They're at a 13. Why were the Oilers included?
Jay's interim, right?
Is he still interim?
Jay Woodcroft is an interim head coach.
Guys,
Is that
It
correct?
is. It is. And he is not signed in for next year. I actually have ties with the family because Jay's brother, Todd, assistant coach of the Winnipeg Jets a couple of years ago. So,
wow.
But I don't think, and I think you guys could, any hockey person that's involved in the sport and kind of knows the sport, Jay Woodcroft is going to get a contract next year. He has done a fantastic job with the Oilers. And the Oilers would be foolish not to re-sign Jay Woodcroft and especially Dave Manson as well, former Winnipeg Jet, to extensions after what happens this year. And go Oilers. Let's hopefully they make this a series when they go back to Edmonton on Saturday night.
Absolutely. Dave Bastel, Sports Interaction. Go to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. That is sportsinteraction.com/SDPN to sign up. Dave, hope you have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday. And maybe by then the Jets will have hired their man.
I could only hope. Have a good weekend, guys.
Burnout is something that I think a lot of people have really identified in their life in the last couple of years. I think all three of us among them. I mean, Jesse, you left a job.
I did.
Steve, you were absolutely exhausted at the end of last year's playoffs. This year, I think better.
I did a better job managing.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. But sometimes, and I'm the same way, man, I'm just absolutely fried all the time. Sometimes you need somebody to talk to. And sometimes you don't even realize it. You know, your symptoms for this stuff can include motivation issues, irritability, fatigue, and more. And that's why BetterHelp can help you. BetterHelp is customized online therapy. It offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't even have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can match with a therapist in under 48 hours. And that's a lot of people struggle with that. It's like you want to find a therapist. How do you find one? Well, BetterHelp helps you. Now, our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp with the promo code SDP. That's BetterHelp.com/SDP. Basis by Elysium Health is a trusted source of NAD Plus supplementation. Their product Basis is clinically proven to increase levels of NAD Plus by 40%. What does that mean to you, Steve Dangle? That's right, anti-aging. It replenishes youthful levels of NAD Plus to promote healthy aging. It supports cellular energy and metabolism and reduces general tiredness to keep you feeling good for longer. Many Basis customers also report experiencing higher energy levels, less fatigue, and more satisfying workouts.
You know when you need that? When you're streaming all the time during the playoffs.
Yeah, that's right. And then you do Red Dead Redemption streams on top of it because you're a crazy man.
I like it.
Exactly. So go to trybasis.com/SDP and enter the code SDP at checkout to save 10% off Basis prepaid plans, as well as other Elysium Health supplements. Try basis.com/SDP and use the code SDP at checkout to save 10%. Thank you, Elysium Health, for sponsoring this episode. So let me ask you this. On average, how long do your hangovers last?
I don't remember the last time I got a hangover because they lasted very long.
Yeah, they do last a long time. For me now, they're 2 days long. 2 days long. Yeah, that's where I'm at in life. That's why, Jesse, you're not quite there yet. I know that.
I'm like 1 day.
Yeah, well, you're close, man. You're close. Z-Biotics, though.
So fast.
You should check out Z-Biotics. It's pre-alcohol probiotics that is genetically engineered to be a probiotic. And it was invented by a PhD scientist and his team to tackle rough mornings after drinking. So this is how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct by your gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough day next day. So Z-Biotics produces an enzyme to break that byproduct down. It's designed to work like your liver, but it's in your gut where you need it the most. Therefore, you drink Z-Biotics before drinking alcohol, you drink responsibly, you get a good night's sleep, and a couple of days later, not even a couple of days later, a couple of hours later, when you wake up and your kids are crying and you're like, oh God, I can't do this like I used to in my 20s. Well, you feel your best. And if you're in your 20s, man, you'll snap right back with Z-Biotics. It's amazing.
Yeah. This is not green light, by the way.
Yes, please.
What is green light?
Please, my goodness.
Green light as well. I drank this so I could just drink whatever I want.
Yeah.
No. This is, I think I might have accidentally drank too much. I'm going to try this so that my head doesn't hurt.
Give Z-Biotics a try yourself. ZBiotics.com/SDP SDP to get 15% off your first order when you use that promo code SDP at checkout. ZBiotics is backed with a 100% money back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money. No questions asked. Remember, zbiotics.com/SDP. Use that promo code SDP for 15% off at checkout. So the New York Rangers embarrassed the Lightning in the first game of their playoff series.
The Lightning will never come back from this.
Too bad we've never seen this happen before. The Lightning are cooked.
By the way, I'm not trying to minimize what the Rangers did in game one. That was extremely impressive. But let's not go writing off the Lightning, shall we?
The Lightning are like a boxer that is known for taking a couple punches in the first couple rounds and then figuring out your style. And then all of a sudden, game 3, game 4, game 5, they come back swinging hard and they figured out all your weaknesses. That's what they did in Toronto. Listen, it was a close series, but they figured it out pretty damn quick what Toronto was doing.
So they let the Leafs get to 7 rounds for the pay-per-view buys.
Yeah, maybe.
Are you saying that series was Mayweather McGregor?
Yeah, it could have been.
It was a Jake Paul fight where it's all rigged.
All rigged.
Aren't they? Are they actually rigged?
No, but he chooses his opponents rather carefully.
He's very smart, is how we'll put it.
PR person for sure.
I'd like to see him fight a fighter his age. Let's start there.
So we know the odds for... We know that, knowing the odds for what happened with the Rangers and the Lightning, Lightning still being favored. Do you give them this game? They win tonight?
Well, so I thought there might be a little rink rust there for the Lightning in game 1, and there super was. Got 6 on Vasilevsky. Got to be feeling good about yourself. Winning 2 straight against the Tampa Bay Lightning is something no one has done for, what is it now, 18 games? 17 games? So the Rangers need to do something no one has done since 2019? 2020? When was the last time the Lightning lost back-to-back playoff games?
That's a good
It
question.
might have been the sweep against Columbus.
It was the Columbus sweep.
Whoa.
That's the last time.
Pre-COVID? Pre any bats? That was the last time the Lightning and Vasilevsky lost back-to-back games. Good luck.
Wow.
New York does it tonight. It ends.
You think so?
Yeah.
It's got to end eventually.
Why? You think New York's too good?
Also, the layoff, they looked rusty.
Yep.
And I don't think they get it back automatically. It'll take them a couple games to get into this series. I think for the Lightning, I think it's probably 7 Lightning and 7. But I see the first 2 going to New York. And Madison Square Garden, underrated part of the New York's strategy against all of their opponents. It's become a barn.
Oh yeah,
where the fans are electric, and you can hear it through the TV.
Ecor's better.
Oh yeah,
that was awesome.
I gotta go to a game there.
Oh, the fans.
You want to tell the story? You tried though.
You tried.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's been a while since I told this story. I'm a fucking idiot. I've never done this before, and I'll never do it again. My wife and I went to New York. I don't remember why. I think we just wanted a mini vacation. So we went there. We did all the New York shit. We're like, let's go to Carmine's, and then we went to Carmine's. We ordered one portion of something because they bring it to you in a trough and they say eat it big, and I said oink oink, and I did my best. We went to a taping of no, it wasn't a taping, it was Jimmy Fallon does a warm-up.
Oh,
so they bring in an audience, and we were part of the audience, and he tries jokes, and we'll laugh, and he'll be like, all right, check mark, and we won't laugh, and he'll be like, all right, scrap that one sucks. And yeah, so we went to that in the afternoon, and then I was like, you know what? We're in New York, and I want to see a Leafs-Rangers game because the Leafs happen to be in town. Kidding. That would have made a lot of sense. It was the Panthers, the pre-good and worth-watching Panthers.
Nice.
And I said, let's get tickets. And there was a dude outside MSG selling tickets. So I gave him 107 American dollars for tickets that I found out when we walked into the arena were fake. And it soured my entire trip. I spent the whole rest of the trip pissed that This was a few years ago. I would be sad if I lost 107 American dollars now. I was a lot more sad then. And now I'm just going to buy real ones.
You ever heard of Ticketmaster?
And go see a hockey game in one of the most historical buildings on the continent.
It's an impressive
so
building.
Stupid.
It's an impressive building because there's like many floors on it too. Like here's a hockey rink and here's this and here's that. You're like, holy shit.
That's how they're going to build Union Station. They were going to throw the ACC on the second level of Union Station.
I wish they had.
The train station would have been the upper level, and then on top of it would have been the ACC, I think.
They would
or it would have
still
been
be
under, I
building
forget. But yeah, they moved away from that.
Well, you wouldn't have had like Maple Leaf Square, right?
Right.
Yeah.
No, it would have been a little different. But
So
whatever.
I got scammed by that guy, but then someone goes, "Hey, that guy's in the coffee shop across the street. You should go confront him." Like a stranger said that, and I'm like, "Okay, this feels like part 2 of the scam,
Yeah.
where I get beat up and robbed."
Yeah, no, you don't go confronting somebody. That's a terrible idea.
No, yeah.
Although I'm not
in a
surprised if
foreign
New York's like, hey,
country-
you're going to let someone do that to you?
Yeah,
Not in this town.
That's New York.
Yeah, you know what I want to do is get in fist fights in a foreign country. That always goes super well. Get thrown into a jail in a country I don't belong to.
Have to contact your embassy,
No,
that sort of thing.
that was a New Yorker sending the Canadian to get his ass beat by another New Yorker.
Yeah, totally. No, and I did the stupidest thing where I wore a big. I didn't realize I was doing this, and I didn't do it on purpose. But I wore a jacket with a giant Canada on the back. And
what, Americans don't walk around with big jackets with Canada on in the back?
I honestly like. I'm gonna like cosplay as an American next time I go to New York, so they stop trying to sell me everything.
Adam, I have a very important question.
All right.
Was the Canada jacket a free jacket from Nike?
Oh, yes, it was.
It was?
Yes, it freaking was.
Jesse makes fun of me for wearing this very nice jacket just because I've had it for a very long time.
I don't make fun of you. It's just
you
funny.
do.
It's just funny.
It's a jacket from the 2014 World Junior Team. I got it as a gift from Nike. It retails for like $600.
There was an era from when I first met you till like 4 years into that period, where all you wore was free gear you got from Nike.
And most of it was because you did that thing with Nike, and then it was like
Because
Team
part
Canada,
of my pay
Nike.
was money that I could only spend at the Nike store.
Right.
But you didn't
Why
know,
wouldn't I have Nike
you didn't
clothes?
own any other clothes.
No, because why would I pay for clothes? I have like a several $1,000 voucher from Nike.
It turned you into a cartoon character
I don't care.
because they wear the same outfits all the time.
Wow.
It's like your Arthur showing up every day in your yellow sweater.
You know what? And people love him.
People love
So
Arthur.
there it is. You know? People don't turn on LFR and go, Leaf jersey again?
That's true.
It's what they've come
You know
to
what?
expect.
I'm wrong.
Yeah, you are wrong. I have a black Nike jacket I got in 2009. Still looks brand new. Still fits.
It's a great jacket.
It is a great
It's
jacket.
fantastic clothes. They've made clothes that last because I've seen them throughout a decade on you.
Goddamn right.
Mika Zibanejad, unbelievable.
Mika's That's a hell of a turn.
Turned into
Hell of a turn.
Turned into the player that everybody expected him to be.
That, you know what, people are like, listen, you're awfully hard on Blackhawks about Panarin and Saad, but that Brassard for Zibanejad deal, it's an all-timer.
right now.
It's an all-timer.
Looking it up right now. Yeah, everyone thought he was going to be.
Yep.
Not the Sens. So the trade is, and I wish they had who these draft picks ended up being. July 18th, 2016. I don't know I don't know why the trade worked out this way. The Sens get a 2018 7th round pick. Remember, this is 2016. They get a 2018 7th round pick and Derek Brassard, who was at the time probably the better player at the time. The Rangers get a 2018 second and Mika Zibanejad, who is far and away the better player in the trade.
And was very quickly.
I need to know who that 2018 second round
I
was.
got it right here. The second round pick that the Ottawa Senators sent to New York ended up in the hands of the Detroit Red Wings. The Rangers traded the pick for defenseman Brendan Smith in 2017.
Who still plays there?
The Red Wings later drafted...
He's Carolina.
Oh, Carolina, sorry.
The Red Wings later drafted Swedish center Jotan Berggren 33rd overall in 2018. He currently plays with a team in the Swedish Hockey League.
Well, whatever. It's a bad trade.
I mean, he's unbelievable.
It's a bad trade.
But they went to the conference final that year, didn't they?
2016.
Oh, that was 60.
The Sens you're talking about?
No, that was 2017.
17. So that was the year after. So they thought it's a pretty damn good team.
Zibanejad could have got them.
He would have been a great guy to build
around. The
around.
double OT winner.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
It lends to what you were saying about Byram in that the progress isn't linear. It's not NHL. Like it took Zibanejad a couple of years, and now he's fully formed. Now we see the full evolution, the third rung of his Pokemon evolution, and he is who he is now. He's a fucking fantastic player.
You can't believe everything you hear about players, and I'll tell you what I've heard about Mika Zibanejad. And I heard this during the season he broke out. Remember right before COVID, it was a 2-horse race for the goal scoring title between, I think it was Matthews and Pasternak, and Zibanejad was like back here, and then he went and like he started to catch right up to them. He had a 5-goal game, and like without the 5 goals, the Rangers lose. Like it was a really high scoring game. But what I heard about him is hockey, he could take it or leave it. He doesn't really care.
What do you mean?
Like he's really talented. Hockey is something he's good at, but he doesn't have a passion for it. He doesn't really care.
What?
He likes to DJ.
Who is saying he doesn't have the passion?
Like supposedly he likes to DJ and he goes by DJ Zbad.
David Guetta?
Yeah, and I remember being like, oh, that's a really interesting observation. I didn't know that about Mika Zibanejad. And now that he's like a star, that story sounds an awful lot like elite hockey player has hobby, which I think is totally fine.
I don't know. I don't think it's allowed.
I don't know. No, I don't know.
So you brought up the 2020 season.
I was slightly wrong.
So, no, but like I think you're even more right because Ovi leads the shortened COVID season with 68 games played and 48 goals. He's tied with Pasta, who also had 48. Matthews ended with 47. Draisaitl 43. Now in 5th place, Mika Zibanejad had 41 goals. He did it in 57 games.
Oh my God!
He did it in less games than everybody above him, and he already had 41 goals. And who knows what he would have hit if he'd finished the season and had been healthy.
Okay, oh my good Lord. Here's how he ended the season. Here's his game by game. Starting February 16th. Goal, no goal. 2 goals, 1 goal, 5 goals, goal. He scored a goal in every game for, oh my God, and you could argue that it even starts before that. It basically came down to he had a somewhat slow start. Actually, no, the fuck he didn't. I don't know where this came from. That Mika Zibanejad could take or leave hockey.
Maybe he's just a guy who's super chill and also does stuff to get his mind off hockey, which dominates his life.
Reminds me of another Swede, that we hear so much about.
From Calgary?
Maybe honestly. Like
Sorry, you're right.
How many Swedes that you have seen or met are not either stoic or chill?
Yeah, they're just not a
Might be a cultural thing, right?
Excitable people.
But makes them bad at hockey. It means they don't care about the game,
right? And I don't want to paint with a broad brush, but we've seen it with Nylander. They're like, oh, he's a different dude. Well, yeah.
Well, and to be clear, I'm not comparing Mika Zibanejad to William Nylander.
No,
but, he was unbelievable that season.
Mm-hmm.
It was the best stretch of hockey of his career. And it's scary to think that he's getting better.
Yes.
Still only 26.
God.
Good Lord.
What?
It feels like he's been in the league forever.
Let me check that. Maybe it's the age of that season.
Oh, I think it's the age of that season.
Oh, yeah. Age of that season is 29.
Okay, I was about to say, that's impossible.
The number next to him is 26, but that's when he was in 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
29.
A couple other news and notes, but we should get to. Tempe City Council voted 5-2 in favor of starting the negotiations with the Coyotes about the new arena deal. So that is progressing.
Cool. That's good news.
The government sports minister has ordered an investigation into Hockey Canada after the sex assault lawsuit was settled. So obviously Hockey Canada settled a sex assault suit. Rick Westhead has been reporting on this, broke the story, has followed up on it. We're planning to have Rick on at earliest convenience, but he's shooting another story because he's Rick and he's busy. But he's going to come on, explain where we're at.
We don't have a date for
but
that.
what's going to be interesting is, Sheldon Kennedy said yesterday, release the report. And all the executives are now going to have to submit and say, to cross-examination on this. And I think there's a reckoning coming.
Well, there was a very significant tweet, and it was Ken Campbell tweeting that he had reached out to Cale Makar's agent to ask if there was any involvement in the investigation. To which he said, Jesse's bringing it up. I don't want to misquote him, but he basically said, my client had nothing to do with it. And it struck me because it's not weird that he would say that about his client. And based on the criteria that Jesse and I outlined on that show, it wouldn't be Cale Makar. Because if every player involved was CHL, was a CHL-based member of Team Canada, which is what was reported through Rick's report in the NHL press release, if that information is all correct, it wouldn't be Cale Makar who played in NCAA. But what was significant about it is Ken reaching out to an agent. The agent gave an answer. So now what's to stop Ken or any other reporter from asking every other agent on the team?
And I believe others have been asked.
Ken wrote that he has reached out to the agent of each player on the 2018 Canadian WJC team. So far, I've heard back from the agents of Cale Makar, and I'm going to mess up this
Jonah
name.
Gadjevich.
Thank you. Who maintained their clients were not involved in the alleged sexual assault in 2018. I will update as I continue to hear back. And then he has mentioned a few other agents, like Kurt Overhart, the agent of Cal Foote, and that Cal Foote was not involved. And he's been checking off names and agents who he has heard from, including Darren Ferris and Victor Mete.
Victor Mete, who wasn't there, he was one of the only members, if not the only member of that team who wasn't in town. So what I thought was fascinating about Cale Makar's agent is he sort of, opened the door for everyone to kind of have to give an answer on this. And turns out it was right.
Wow. Well, it'll be interesting to see where this actually goes and how much we actually find out. Kent Hughes says the Habs have not made a decision on who they're drafting.
Stop it.
Sure. But one thing that I think he was very truthful about was that they don't know if Price is going to play, but he said they need to know by mid-July because they got to make some changes.
Yeah.
That's very fair. Play ever again?
This season, I think.
I would think it's that. Ever again.
Well, I'm sure
This
ever
upcoming
again.
season,
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. But I mean, he might only be able to answer this upcoming season.
Mm-hmm.
That's
fair.
Yeah, it's listen, everyone's in a tough position there. It's an extraordinarily difficult decision for Carey Price to make. But if you're Ken Hughes, you got a hockey team to run, man. And you got to know who your starting goalie is, for God's sake.
Mm-hmm. And you got to know what your cap space is.
And you got to, he's far too significant a part of the Montreal Canadiens for them to not have an answer on this.
Yeah.
Really tough position.
Did we decide on the proper word for trimming? The proper replacement word for trimming?
Trimming.
You like trimming? You don't like cleave? You don't like split?
Buzzing?
Remove?
No.
Listen.
Those are all bad words.
The reason we got to tell you this is it's Manscaped. And Manscaped, you already know, is number one in male grooming. But they also have the ultra premium body wash with aloe vera and sea salt. They got the hair care. Steve uses it all the time. 2-in-1 shampoo. You hop out of the shower, use the aluminum-free deodorant. The deodorant dries clear and is infused with refined cologne, so you smell good. If you got tattoos and dry skin, hit your skin with the hydrating body moisturizer spray that's infused with the power of red algae from the Pacific Ocean. Manscaped lip balm too. Keep those lips puckered.
I've tried that.
Have you?
And I'm quite partial to the deodorant.
Are you?
Yes.
Oh.
I like that. It's good. Now, you don't want to get, you want to smell good, you want to feel good, and you want to get 20% off, and we can do that. 20% off and free shipping with the code DANGLE at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code DANGLE at manscaped.com. It's time to get wet and clean with your new Manscaped shower routine. Jonas Siegel put together an article of the top 8 players that could be the next Jason Spezza for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm going to run.
Give me this.
Yeah, you ready?
Mark Giordano?
Wow.
Sure.
Well, no, Giordano, he already acknowledges is there, but he's talking about forwards. So one of the ones that came up, and this is why I know about this article, because one of our listeners reached out and said, hey, you seen this? Thought of you. Jay Beagle at number 8.
Yeah, let's go. Do it.
Derek Stepan who has kind of come down a little bit, has strong underlying numbers, obviously, in the regular season, but has lost his spot in the Hurricanes lineup this playoffs. Another name, number 6, Tyler Bozak, although he has struggled a lot with injuries. Ooh. And, he's a good guy, loved in the dressing room, but his faceoffs are down. It looks like he's been super injured, and his contract is up.
See, that'd be incentive for him to come back, though. Because guys like, I remember Tyler Ennis, the reason he was lured to the Toronto Maple Leafs is their medical staff.
Right.
And it basically helped resurrect his NHL career.
Here's a name that's going to blow your mind. Ready? Brian Boyle.
Oh, let's go. Yeah, man. Like, I hated the way that ended.
Me too.
A lot of Leaf fans, more than most trade deadline acquisitions in recent memory, Leaf fans got attached to Brian Boyle.
Yeah. Because it was part of the start of the cool, right? It's very cool.
Well, because we just had this band of children and, players we were used to being on bad teams. And then Brian Boyle comes in. He's like, I'm good. And we're like, we know. It's weird you're here.
Yeah.
And,
I don't want any ex-Leaf back.
Oh, okay.
That's why I'm out on Bozak. I'm out on Boyle.
What about Sam Gagner?
That one, I think that's very likely, actually. That he joins the Leafs organization.
He's already been a part of it, right? He was loaned to the Leafs through the Marlies at one point.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he said nothing but good things about it. And now he's really had, I think he had something like 30 points or 31 points or something with the Red Wings this year.
And lifelong friend of John Tavares.
Oh.
And they're business partners as well.
Marlboros?
I think they co-own the Marlboros.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the thing is that his last deal was for $850,000. That makes sense for the Leafs. It's a question of what do they want to do with the fourth line, and that's why this next name is particularly interesting. Trevor Lewis, Calgary Flames, former LA Kings, favorite of Darryl Sutter, Jack Adams winner.
Well, and he can. Well, I was about to say, he can rejoin Jack Campbell and Jake Muzzin, and no, neither of those guys. It's quite possible neither of those guys will be here.
That's right.
Come next season. Or both.
What Jonas wrote about him was Lewis is large and he's snarly, physical, and dependable defensively. And he was a big part of the 6th ranked Calgary Flames penalty kill this year.
Penalty kill is important. And Kampf has been a big addition to the Leafs penalty kill. They could use another center who can do that. Another
name, if he gets his cup this year, to put in the hat, Toronto guy, of course, because it's got to be the Spezza model, right?
Oh, Nazem Kadri.
Andrew Cogliano, who's never been much on offense, but his defense is insane. And
he got run over by McDavid last night. He's got the hustle. He's got the hustle. I just it's so tough. Like, when is a kid gonna take a depth spot in the lineup and make it difficult to keep them in a depth spot? Like, to me, that's the best option.
Yeah.
It's not
like
what
Kapanen and Janssen did when they came in.
That's a pretty good comparable. Like they were sort of...
It was like third line pushing second with those guys.
Yeah, like they were ready to play. Nick Robertson is, I think, ready to play second line. I don't think he's ready to play fourth line. Like, I don't think that's ever going to be a match. Kapanen could do that.
Scored an overtime goal in playoffs in the fourth line. Yeah,
they could do that. Like, I'd like to see. It's like how I said the best third goalie is a young guy who you can, call up and send down without risking losing to waivers. I think your best depth option. I think it's good to have a mixture of young and old. I don't think you can have an all old fourth line. Like, I was sort of looking at, we were talking about this battering ram potential fourth line of like Clifford, Spezza, Simmons. And I'm like, who's even the youngest guy here? Are they all in their 30s? And like they're not going to get tired by the time the end of June hits. Yeah, you need a little bit of youth back there.
And the last one, and again, these players have to be old, right? They have to be old.
They have to be old. They got to be grandpas.
And I love that Jonas saved this guy for last because of his goal in Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. Darren Helm.
Hey, oh my God. I did not know he was on the Avalanche. Did not know he was still in the league. Was very confused when I discovered he was still in the league, why he was on the ice with less than 10 seconds to go in an elimination game, and then he scored the series-winning goal.
It's a crazy one.
His first goal of the playoffs.
Are we doing a press conference today, Jesse?
No, I think we're good for the week.
Well, then we're going to wrap it for the week. Listen, thank you so much for listening as always. Happy Pride Month as always as well. And we're
National Indigenous History Month as well.
Yes, I meant to mention that off the top as well. My apologies there as well. Yeah, it was. It's an important month for both groups, and we hope you have a fantastic weekend. There's insane hockey on the way. It's going to be great.
It's a lot of fun.
It is, isn't it?
Sports are fun.
Sports are fun, and you know what? Hockey's really fun when it's warm outside. I feel like every time it gets to this point in the season, I'm like, this is what it's like to live in Tampa all year round.
Yeah,
it's like, watch hockey game, go in the sunshine. It's amazing.
Who do you got Saturday? Who do you got tonight?
Oh, how dare you!
And give me a player who scores.
Tampa tonight, Edmonton Saturday.
In both games.
Yeah.
Give me a player.
Tampa.
I got Tampa tonight.
I got Ross Colton tonight for Tampa.
Oh, goal scorers?
Just any goal scorer that scores in the game. Adam's got Colton.
Shit, that's a good pick.
And Tampa.
Anthony Cirelli.
You got Cirelli.
And
who do you got for your team?
Tampa.
You got Tampa?
And for Saturday, I got... I think Colorado's going to do it again, and I think Alex Newhook's going to get one.
Whoa, okay.
Colorado and Newhook.
I'm going to say Edmonton and Nuge.
Edmonton and Nuge.
I really like him. Like I really like the. I mean, he's a good player in this league. It shouldn't be shocking.
The way he's playing right now,
he's gone. Like he's thoroughly underrated now.
Yes, people just don't talk about him anymore.
No, remember I laughed at his contract demands a few years ago. Like, yeah, because he was asking for too much. But now we've gone way too far the other way.
Yeah. He's a great player.
Yep.
Great player.
I have Rangers and Mika Zibanejad and the Oilers and Leon Draisaitl, baby.
Really went out on a limb, didn't you?
Didn't you?
I don't know about that Rangers pick because, he can take it or leave it, right? Like,
go DJ somewhere.
He enjoys music and hobbies in his free time.
Hey, imagine going to a museum.
Oh my God.
The Steve Dangle Podcast.
Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada's Sportsbook.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.